Hey, my name is PolishLynx and welcome to irae, Amantes, amentes. We shall continue. Is Spinner alive actually? Following Grand Fuji's departure, the silence of the Monolly Park was unceremoniously broken by someone's ragged wheezing. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, did not he decapitate him? He spat out each word like the slabs of curse, his voice trembling with wrathful resentment. He had committed colossal oversight by underestimating the boy. Spin would never have imagined that a pretty face brown, barely even worthy to be called a man, would overpower him to this extent. They would all pay for this. Not just the boy, each and every one of those bastards would rot in hell. Despite choking his own blood, Spinner sounded a loud cackle as he imagined the sight. The boy may have materialized a rather powerful Achnenerbe, but in the end, he was still wet behind the ears. That he left without confirming whether or not Spinner had truly died stood testament to his naivete. Why didn't you decapitate him, dude? The boy would live to regret this. Ugh, they all would. First things first, though. Well, you don't know if he was... Well, I know it's a weird prediction, but I feel like someone observed the battle and they might actually get rid of the guy. Spinner cackled on, still wrapping in a pool of his own blood. He would remain hiding until he had recovered enough. Then seek the help of his comrades. Babylon, in particular, might be able to patch up even a wound this severe. If Spin was to team up with anyone, that woman could be a fine candidate. Aside from holding Kane's leash, she also possessed a much less secretive personality compared to the likes of Christoph. Okay, if he could stop laughing, that retard, that would be great. Spinner could no longer contain his laughter. Having decided what to do next, he had no more use for the pact with that. Told you someone was observing.
もう少し面白い戦いになるかと思ったのですが、所詮器が違うということですか。まったく本当に情けない。
The divine Wiesel. What brought him here? The priest looked down at Spinner's writhing body with his trademark smile, yet the one he produced now lacked even a single ounce of warmth.
あなたはそれほどまでにハイドリ秘境が恐ろしいのですか、シュピーネ。何？ごまかすことはありません。別にあなただけでなく、私も含めた全員が思っていることでしょう。あの方が恐ろしいなどということは。とはいえ、違いがあるとすれば、恐怖の形。美観の問題でしょうかね。私もベイもマレウスも、カインもバビロンも、レオンハルトも、怖いからといって逃げようなどとは思わない。私は聖戦を指揮する身です。故に戦士でない者にかける情けを持ちません。あなたは哀れで情けない。実に滑稽極まりますよ。黒煙卓の第10位はどうやら腐っていたようですね。
So, will he deliver the killing blow?
まあそんなあなただからこそ役に立つこともあったわけなのですが。
Each word the smiling priest uttered was another droplet of potent venom, descending upon Spinner like the veil of a dark blessing. After reverently making the sign of the cross, the priest brought down the blade of judgment upon his dying comrade.
せめてその汚れた魂、浄化し有効利用して差し上げましょう。光栄に思いなさい。私がハイドリ秘境だったなら、あなたは食われているところです。第二のスワスチカ。その身をもって、礎となる名誉を与えましょう。
without even allowing Spin to finish his plea for mercy.
天は神の栄光を語り、大空は神の手の技を示している。話すことも語ることもなく、その声が聞こえなくとも。
He stomped on Spin's head, making sure he stayed dead this time around. What secrets could the priest have harbored, being able to neutralize an apostle, even one on the verge of expiration, without even resorting to his irae? Very important info.
いささか役者不足かとも思いましたが、どうやらうまく機能したようですね。
Spin's body crumbled to dust, vanishing in a matter of seconds. The souls he had piled up did not disperse, and instead lingered behind for a future purpose. Those guys laughed too much. And so the stigmata began to age, once again sending rivulets of fresh blood down the priest's hands, feet, and flank.
おお、これはとても痛いですね。どうやらハイドリ卑怯、お怒りのご様子だ。罰は慎んでお受けしましょう。
Another weirdo.
ですが、私はともかくとして、他の者らには手加減をしていただけないものでしょうか。これほどの圧をかけられては、死人の一人や二人出かねませんよ。
And so the priest cackled, his eyes narrowed in joy, his lips curled upwards, his clothes stained in vermilion blood.
まあ、これで焼き切れる魂ならば、用をなさぬということですかな。相変わらず容赦のない手厳しいお方ですね。加えてあの若者も、あなたのご期待に応えることができるのでしょうか。さすがにもう、このような茶番を仕組むことはできませんよ。
What happened today would not repeat itself again. The boy no doubt had a question or two regarding the body double, but Trifa had no inclination to grant him an explanation, nor would he save him again. For Campris alone guided the priest's hand today. Teresa's presence prompted him to act the good Samaritan for a change.
さて、しかし本当に痛いですね。やむなしとはいえ、皆は大丈夫なのでしょうか。
え？That's Rusalka, right? Wilhelm? The whole of the obsidian ensemble echoed with the painful screams of Wilhelm, Rusalka, and Kei Sakurai, as all three writhed in agony. For the true nature of that blinding maelstrom of abnormal pain that nearly drove them to insanity was none other than their suffering would not cease. Instead, the blood bubbling from their respective stigmata stained the obsidian round table crimson. They had forgotten it, taken it lightly. They had grown arrogant, intoxicated by their own ever-growing prowess. Yet little did they know how trifling that power of theirs appeared in comparison to the other fives. So they are really weak. Such foolish conceit. Why are you calling for that guy? Wilhelm made an attempt to reach for the 12 seeds, only to be blown clean away as if struck by lightning. That was hardly all. The same could be said of the 9 seeds. And as well as the seed of Sieben. The tremendous spiritual pressure emanating from each overwhelmed all those present in the hall. Well, at least they know they are not strong enough after all. I mean, Rusalka did say something about having the level of, the higher ups, and yet doesn't seem like it So I do like her. Kind of. Definitely would prefer her over Kay somehow, but well. Well, it's still Kasumi, Mari, Rhea, add Lisa to it as well. Then we can talk about the others. Sure about that? Logic did not apply here. The appointment of a traitorous member of the Obsidian Table, a wretch who dared tarnish honor and loyalty alike, remained a sin most grave regardless of how much of a craven fool he might have been. And with sin came punishment. Any fool that dirtied their master's abode in his absence, would rightly deserve to be torn from limb to limb. The answer was clear. Commence the war. Enact the Holocaust. Usher in the day of wrath. Complete the swastika. Sieg Heil Victoria. Sieg Heil Victoria. I'm not going to scream that. Yeah, come here. I have to kick your ass. Kind of. No, we had to not, because he might be super powerful actually, and we should get rid of the others and basically not allow them to complete all the swastikas. So I feel like by defeating them we might actually allow them to get the demo completed. A month later, entity encompassing the whirlpool of myriad souls descended upon the Iron Seed. The manifestation of a phenomenally large spiritual pressure that threatened to annihilate all in its vicinity by merely appearing for a split second. The beast's pair of eyes glimmered in brilliant gold, his mane swaying as he delivered a decree to his subjects. This is definitely freaking Archer's voice, as I said before. The time for games had ended, no further delays would be forgiven, but actually that guy's voice is pretty good for a freaking character like that. And so, this very moment served to ignite the flames of war in earnest. The day of wrath shall signal his coming, with heaven and earth alike dissolving in ashes, as David and the Sibyls had once foretold. Okay. Just because I managed to go through that whole experience without any losses didn't change a thing about the fact that I screwed up. But I want to honestly celebrate for the time being. As I returned to my apartment complex, I spotted light leaking through the windows of my room. I could not think of one person who dared to trample on my privacy like that. I rushed all the way up the stairs. Opened the door. And found her there, with nothing amiss.
それでどう？桜井さんとは仲直りできた？あんたって言葉足りないところがあるから、慣れないうちは誤解されちゃうことも多いと私は思ったりするんだよね。でも、なんだかんだ言って頑張るときは頑張るし、まあ、やる気を出すパターンがものすごく限定されてるって弱点もあるけどさ、基本的にナイスな男だと幼馴染は評価してるよ。
Will you tell her the truth?
だから、できればもう少しだけ女の子の気持ちを。で、何？どうかしたのレン？あ、もしかして怒ってる？だったらごめんなさいなんだけど。私、この部屋に結構私物とか置いちゃってるもんだから。今のうちに片付けないと、後で桜井さんにバレたら危ないじゃない？ほら、マグカップとか歯ブラシとか、そういうの特に NG だし。そんなわけで、無理やり壁の穴を通ろうとしたら、レンが塞ぐのに使ってた本棚、思いっきり倒しちゃったりして。こりゃまずいなと思いつつ、今まで掃除してたのよ。あと、なんか携帯もなくしちゃってさ、もしかしたらここにあったりしないかなって。レン？なんか言ってよ。ちょいプレッシャー。
I suddenly reached into my pocket and produced Kasumi's cell phone.
これ、なんでレンが持ってんの？
落ちてた。
どこに？
道端。
道端って。
I couldn't bear looking Kasumi in the eye. Had this right eyed.
なんかよくわからないけど。ありがとう。
I hit my limit.
ちょっとレン、何をいきなり、あんた桜井さんと付き合ってるんじゃん。浮気したらダメ。
Not wanting Kasumi to see my face like this, I forcefully embraced her. I continued to mentally apologize to her with all my heart. My carelessness today could have easily gotten her killed. I vowed never to screw up like that ever again. I hoped, with all my soul, that she would forgive me.
なんで？わかんないよ。めっちゃアグレッシブだよ。何考えてんのよ。私とあんたはただの幼馴染で、こんないきなりじゃ心の準備が。って違う。
Man. It sounded like I had a jackhammer next to my ears. The blaring siren of her voice felt soothing beyond words, causing all my pent-up tension to unravel in an instant and...
待って、嫌よ。そんな押し通すのはダメだってば。けだもの、桜井さんになんて言い訳したらいいのよ。あんた、刺されても知らないんだからね。ちょっとレン、聞いてるの？おい、あんたもしかして。嘘でしょ？こいつ寝てるよ、寝てますよ。何？私枕なの？ありえねえだろ、こらバカ。どういう了見なのよ。マジムカ、女のプライドズタズタじゃないの。あんた最低。もう大嫌い。
Right, I got all that, I did. So, could I go back to sleep now? I took down one of the bastards tonight. Soon there would be no more time for rest and relaxation. I was certain they would come after me in full force after this. So if she could just let me sleep like this until dawn, that'd be great. Rete Spinne, dead! In Shambhala, 9 out of 13. Well, technically it's 8 out of 13. Right now, because one is ripped. Swastika, 2 out of 8. Chapter 4, Odessa End. Let's begin chapter 5 then. Consider the definition of a tragedy. Yeah, the word I wanted to say was not the correct one here. Hey, one more time. I mess up a lot today. Consider the definition of a tragedy. Were we to cut straight to the case, we would say that the word denoted the concept of loss. The loss of what people held dear opened a hole in their hearts. Was not an event that drove cracks in the heart and rifts in the mind not generally referred to as tragedy? Yet what people individually considered important rivaled the stars themselves in number and diversity. Although family, friends, lovers, and the like were generally held in the highest regard by most, I knew, all too well, that some would feel not a speck of emotion, shed not a single tear, upon their loss. Then how were we to define tragedy so it applied to all? In a certain book it is written that it was hardly what one lost that ought to matter, but rather the circumstances surrounding the loss. That having something broken or stolen was far greater a tragedy than simply misplacing it. Was that really true? In tragedies with a clear perpetrator, anger made for an easy way out. The sorrow of the tragedy might be forgotten through hatred of the thief, and could even grant one's life a goal in the form of revenge. Could such a thing truly be labeled tragedy in its purest form? I knew it was tough. That was a matter even someone as ordinary as me could comprehend, yet I would have preferred to plunge deeper into this subject. Man's psyche was a clever construct. It pulled a safety valve the moment it found itself assaulted by a storm of deeply negative emotions. Anger and sorrow would turn to pleasure, and if it exceeded that, indifference. The heart and mind attempted to regain their balance in some shape or form, and wounds were healed, albeit in a twisted manner. With that in mind, the unclosing fissure, the unhealing, ever-bleeding wound born of tragedy, what could such a thing denote? If indeed that was possible, then surely it would be a being denied from birth the right to possess a single thing, its grasp, empty. As it was unable to get hold of anything, it was incapable of losing it, a being that was born deficient, and would consequently never heal, an eternally lost child. I had dreamt of one such girl, and the true, cruel tale of her birth. France, 1793. There was once a married couple who lived in Saint-Malo of Brittany. The husband was a well-built dockhand, his wife a beautiful woman of fair disposition. They were leading what one could easily label a joyous life. The fierce storm of the revolution's ideology ushered in a violent shift in the citizens' way of thinking. The clergy and nobility were soon established as absolute evil. Kind of true. And the married couple, without questioning the judgment, accepted as truth, indulging in blind, foolish hatreds. They failed to remember that, in their time of youth, it was a certain priest's assistant that eventually brought them their current bliss. He was a clergyman, and therefore evil. In the husband's mind, this plain simple conclusion remained irrefutable. His wife was a devout Republican, even more zealous than he. If there was revolution, would you actually take part in it? I mean, I probably would not care. I would just continue my life. So devout, in fact, that she would station herself at the foot of a guillotine hours before an execution, busying herself with knitting as she watched the heads fall. Even as she was heavy with child, and in the later stages of pregnancy, she would nonetheless make her way to the gallows every single day without fail. I'm sorry to say that, but what a retard. The husband, her knight in shining armor, will continue to escort his lovely wife to her special seat day after day. The blade of the guillotine fell, heads rolled, blood, it wanted blood. After thoroughly enjoying their festival of madness, the two would make their way home whilst discussing the future of their soon-to-be-born child. They were a joyous, blessed couple. They were upstanding citizens, their sense of values typical of all respectable townsfolk during that era. However, one day, during the Messior, the harvest festival, Saint Malo came to hold an execution of particular interest. The victim was a former pastor in the Church of Christ. The aged clergyman was well known among the townsfolk, and as such, everyone wished to see his expression as he rose to the gallows. Naturally, the good married couple was no exception. The wife stood with the crowd at the foot of the guillotine, her body racked with the intense pains of labor. Yet she stifled her screams with heroic effort, waiting in anticipation for the moment the priest would climb the scaffold. The aged pastor was a father figure to the poor and needy, a holy man who earned their love and admiration. And yet, he was the enemy, a figure of wickedness deserving punishment. Well, not all of them are bad. I mean, most of them shouldn't be bad. I mean, there are special cases which, well, are terrible beings, but what can we do about it? His head needed to fall. And yet, on that day, the executioner was nowhere to be found. Such misfortune! The wife moaned with disappointment. Perhaps the executioner had fled at the idea of executing a priest of such virtue and benevolence. The Republican officials called for new executioner from the crowd, yet the onlookers' hearts were so filled with sympathy for the elderly priest that none of them dared step forward. Don't tell me she would do that. Were things to stay this way, the execution would be cancelled. My love, I beg of you. Despite being shaken by violent pain, the wife clung desperately onto her husband's sleeve. To the foolishly naive man, her action was no less than a supreme command. I shall do it. The wife, watching the gall fear of her husband ascend the steps to the scaffold, raised her voice and broke me the beloved song of hers. Blood, 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 it wants blood. Shower the guillotine with drink. Okay, that was also the song. May the guillotine first be quenched. What it wants is blood, blood, blood. Like magic, that familiar tune dispelled all sympathy from the crowd's hearts in an instant. A certain kind of joy spread from person to person like an infectious disease as the vile, bloodthirsty refrain echoed, its words sweeping across the execution site. Blood, 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 it wants blood. I guess all of them sing now, right? Shower the guillotine with drink. May the guillotine's fears first be quenched. What it wants is blood, blood, blood. Surrounded by blessings, the husband proved his love towards his wife, as well as loyalty to his country, by beheading his very own benefactor. It was an honor, a commendable act hardly worthy of shame. Is that so? And so, as he returned to his wife's side, and beheld the female newborn in her arms, he wept tears of joy. What? Wait a minute. So, he cuts off someone's head, and at the same time she gave birth? That family truly is crazy. This child was born on a day of celebration. God has it to make her happy. Indeed, God would see to it. Look how lovely she is. I'm certain everyone will be entranced with her. Indeed, no one would ever forget her. Marguerite, the jewel of Saint Malo. Okay, I'm kind of curious now. If that really is a thing. Okay. Quick. Marguerite. The jewel. Wrong writing. The jewel. Oh, god damn it. Of Saint Malo. Marguerite Bourgeois, something like that? Okay. Marguerite Bour... Oh, god damn it. Okay. Sorry, I have to check it. Okay, 1612 born, 700 is the day of her death. But I don't think it's that person we are actually looking for here. I mean, the child named at birth. Okay, that's not what I was looking for. Because Saint Malo is definitely not current Montreal, right? Okay, the person I found is born in Troyes and so on. That's, I guess, not what I was looking for. I was curious if the Marguerite, the jewel of Saint Malo, was actually a thing, and guess it's not. Alright, the girl marked the feet of the guillotine. She came to this world with a mark resembling a guillotine scar around her neck, one that would never fade. Even as she passed her 10th year, she was still unable to speak. When she finally did open her mouth, what left her lips was the guillotine's refrain. Her mother went insane and died, a mad woman. Wait. Let's face it, she was insane even before that. Her father was loathed as a murderer and met his end under the guillotine for charges of smuggling. But the girl herself harbored no sins of her own. She had never done anything wrong. For the child to suffer due to parental sin, this was but another facet of an ever-cruel world of injustice. Silent most of the time, the girl would only recite the guillotine's bloody refrain every time she opened her mouth. The moment she set foot outside, the entire town would fall into an ominous silence. Am I the only one that would approach her actually and tried talking and so on? I mean, come on, she was spending her time around crazy parents, right? So, of course, something might have gotten on her side, but still, I guess if you tried, maybe, well, she's normal in our dreaming. Here, her tragic madness, the cruelty of her birth. Having grown up amidst fear, loathing, hatred and isolation, the girl lost everything before she ever came to possess a single thing in life. For she was healthy in mind, her dysfunctional feelings could not comprehend the meaning of sorrow. And so, her case was what one could call tragedy. A girl thoroughly abnormal, a complete outcast. There were many who plotted to bring harm upon fair Marguerite, yet all who touched her ended up decapitated without exception. Ouch! She was under the guillotine's protection. Her curse would kill anyone that dared to touch her. Wait, so by trying to approach her and actually being, well, normal and basically treating her like a normal person, I would still be decapitated or not? Or was it only decapitating, well, the plotting only, guys? Hopefully. If we assume beauty to be fleeting and fragile, in constant danger of being trampled on, then her beauty was indeed no beauty at all, and yet neither was she Hindus, but a vacant empty void. Eternity itself. Following her parents' death, she roamed the streets aimlessly like a discarded animal, mindless of what to eat or where to sleep, yet never firing, never decaying. She's no human. Hardly could we fault anyone for saying so. Yes, we could. They were at fault, whoever said that. It was the logical conclusion of the matter. I just said it. They people freaking are at fault here. Cliché as it may have been, she was inevitably declared a witch, for she was inhuman and abnormal, with over 100 already having perished after touching her. Witch? With looks like that, and from what we've seen with great, actually nice personality, who cares? Witches like that are cool. Her life could not be allowed, her past needed to be buried, and in the end, Marguerite was arrested and hauled off the gallows. Eh? How? No one could touch her. Her treatment resembled the handling of a dangerous instrument, the process itself similar to herding sheep. Oh, yet Marguerite did not resist. Had she set her heart on it, she could have slaughtered her captors with ease. So why did she choose not to? The answer was quite simple. The meaning of death and execution lay beyond her comprehension. To her, decapitation was a common occurrence. Whether it was her own head that fell, or someone else's, she could not tell the difference. And so on that day, she stood at the gallows, the very same place that once witnessed her father's gruesome duty, the place of her birth. Gazing to the faraway sunset, Marguerite, with a heart pure and untainted, began her song. The refrain of blood, the hymn of the guillotine, singing God's carols like a prayer. Those were her first, and, as many had thought, final words spoken as a human being. But at that moment, Marguerite had an epiphany.
私はずっとここにいるのね。
The words remained eternally burned into their ears. The soul of man, watching the spectacle for no particular reason amongst the crowd, was torn out of its very foundations. He was none other than Ahasver. Valgrand was known as Saint Germain, in our time as Paracelsus, or as Faust, Rosenkreuz, and even Magnus. This man, currently known as Alessandro di Cagliostro, was swept away by her very being. She alone remained free from the law of this universe. An exquisite soul not bound by the shackles of eternal recurrence, one that would stay in the same place even after death. If such is the case, I will move every fiber of my being to save her. I shall kneel before her, reducing my very being to that of a slave. For the princess of the Guillotine was a beauty transcending words. Gifting her with an appropriate necklace is my utmost. And thus her sentence was carried out. Marguerite's life came to an end. However, the jewel of Saint Malo lost not a shred of its luster. She had been born with nothing to begin with, and as such, not even the loss of her life could grant her death. Ever since then, she had been all alone, singing endlessly in that eternal twilight, even to this very day. She sang the abominable refrain like an angel, her voice pure and rife with bittersweet beauty. I found myself angered. I wished to sieve with anger in her place a girl who knew neither sorrow nor tears. If I didn't do so, no one ever would, and that thought alone felt beyond unbearable. I knew this to be hypocrisy on my part. I should have been minding my own business. But my heart ached at Mary's life. Why did this girl have to go through all that? What did she ever do wrong? If there was a god out there, he would need to be cursed in her stead. Pretty much, yeah. We both found ourselves entranced by a girl feared and loathed by all. Kind of, I guess. I couldn't deny that, no matter how much I wanted to. Hey? But Kasumi! How deeply did she comprehend the meaning behind those words? Uh-oh. Okay. Having borne witness to her origins, I could now focus on the battles that would no doubt await us both. There was no way I could have rejected Mari. And so I took her hand. A pact forged of sympathy, selfishness, and truth. I found myself stung with guilt. Just like that bastard, I want to save her, but the only way I could do that was by using her as a lethal weapon. Talk about a dilemma. So that's it. I found myself imagining just how wonderful it would be if I could give Mari a second chance at life once all this was done and over with. Maybe we can do that actually. Chapter 5, Holiday. Now you got me thinking, man. Maybe we can do that. Anyway, I don't know, let's end the episode here. I know it was a shorter one, but... well, I guess the next day starts, we can actually that way go with the next episode the next day. So yeah, for now, hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one tomorrow. Bye bye.